What's up, everybody? How you doing today? My name is Germaine, and I'm going to show you guys how to change the color in the subject's floral print. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to access the camera raw filter and access the color menu, and at that point we'll be able to make changes. Okay, but the changes that we want to make will only be to the floral print on the subject's outfit. We don't want to affect anything else because we want to keep the image looking as natural as possible. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to do so. Okay, so let me start from scratch. Let me delete these layers. Okay, 1 second. And in order to delete a layer, I'm sorry, I made a copy. What you want to do is you want to right click on the layer, and at that point you want to delete. I'm going to do the same thing again, and I'm going to do the same thing again. Okay. All right, so at this point, I'm working on the PC, so I'll be giving you the controls from a PC's perspective, okay? So at this point, I'm going to click Control J on the background so that I can make a copy. I'm going to call this one, just for lack of a better phrase or term, skin, okay? And I'm going to make another copy, so that's Control J, or I can right click and choose duplicate layer, or I can go up to layer and I can choose duplicate layer. Okay, so all right, and I'm going to name that duplicate layer, excuse me, color. Okay, just to keep it simple. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to access the color menu, and they have a variety of ways you can do that, but I typically use the method found in the camera raw filter. If you're not aware of what the camera raw filter is, it's basically Facebook's version of the menu in Lightroom. I know a lot of people who swear by Lightroom, and honestly, when I started working in the area of photography, I used Lightroom more than Photoshop. But once I found out about the camera raw filter, I kind of put Lightroom on the back burner. The only time I really use it is when I have to process batch images. But okay, so enough with that. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the filter tab at the top, and I'm going to click on camera raw filter. So now what you see is basically Photoshop's version of the Lightroom menu. Okay, so you can basically do the same things in here that you can do in Lightroom for the most part. Okay, so initially my first thing is, well, this picture has already been edited, but typically I would make sure, you know, like my alignment is right, my frame, if I need to crop anything, enlarge, and so on and so forth, I would do that first. But since this picture has been edited already, I'm not going to worry about that. And if you hear any strange sounds in the back, it's probably my kids watching a brand new Trolls movie. So, you know, don't be alarmed if you hear some kids, okay? All right, so now at this point, what I want to do is I want to go to this tab here. This is the camera calibration tab, okay? You left click on that. And I typically start from my blue primary. Of course, you can see my process is set at 2012, okay? It may vary in whatever version of Photoshop you're using. I think I'm using Photoshop 2017 CC. So again, I'm using as my process profile, I'm using 2012, okay? So with my blue primary under hue, I typically take it to the left a tad, okay? So as you can see, it's taking what was yellow and it's making it more of an orange tone, as you can see, okay? So her skin hasn't been altered, you know, too much. It still looks natural, so I think I'm going to leave it here. So I might even take it up to 40, a negative 45, okay? All right, so next I want to go to my Hsl Slash Grayscale tab, okay? So once you get here, you have 3 sections, okay? You have the hue, the saturation, and the luminance, okay? So basically what I'm going to start working in is the hue tab. Okay. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to manipulate the oranges first. That's what I want to go with first, because as you can see, since her outfit, the floral pattern in her outfit rather, was changed from yellow to orange, I'm going to try to tweak that a little bit to see if I can get that orange to turn to red. Okay, so let's try that out. So let me drag it a little bit on the left and see what happens. Okay, as you can see, her skin is being affected, but don't worry about that because we'll take that out. Okay. As you can see, it's kind of like a hot orange. Okay, so I'm gonna drag it back and let me see if I can play with the reds. Okay, as you can see, it only affects the red tones in her skin and in her hat. Initially, this is the base where her hat started, but as we scroll to the left, it kind of turns into a burgundy maroon tone, but no. Okay, so we don't want that. So let me try the magentas. Let's see what happens with that. We don't really see any visible changes. Let's see what we have here. In the purples, we don't have any. So let's go back to the oranges, okay? So let's take the orange up and let's get it to be maybe about a -60. Let's try that. We can always go back and change it. It's no problem. All right, so here, let me try my yellows and see what happens, okay? So if we take this down to the right side on the yellow hue to the positive side, you can kind of see a little bit of green popping up in the outfit. If we take it all the way to the negative side on the left, you can see that it maintains that orange tone, okay? So now I want to go over to my luminance. We're not really going to worry about the saturation because the saturation is basically an overall level change of whatever color you're affecting at that point in time, and it's global. So at this point, if I was to drop out the oranges at this point, you would see that basically everything in the image that has an orange over or undertone is affected. Okay, so we don't want to do that right now in this instance. So what I'm going to do is, let me try to take this up. Let's see what happens when I do that. Okay, so it seems we're only really affecting the hat on this one. So I'm going to go to my Luminance tab and I'm going to play with my red tones and see what we can get. Okay, that's kind of a little too dark. All right, go back. All right. Okay, so we have the orange. So let's go back to the camera calibration tab, okay? And let's see what we can do with the other color scales and the saturations. Green. See what the green is doing. This orange. Shadows. Okay. That's an orange. You see that? The orange is kind of, oh, that's Cheeto orange. We don't want that. It's too much. All right, let's go back, back, back. Play around with the white balance. We're gonna leave that as it is. Alrighty, and let's go back to the hue and let's see what we can do. Alright. Okay. Alright, so let's roll with that orange just for the sake of time. Let's see what we can do with it, okay? Alright, so now I'm gonna click OK. And as you can see, the outfit actually it actually changed from yellow to orange. But of course, if you look at her skin is red and we can't do anything with it because the it doesn't look natural, okay? And it would look like a poor edit. So, okay, so let me delete that. I'm working ahead of myself, okay? So now at this point, what we want to do is we want to take out everything that is affected by the orange and reddish tones that's not supposed to be that way, okay? So the outfit, like we're not going to mess with the outfit, but everything else that's red, that's not supposed to be, we're going to take that out, okay? So in order to do that, what we have to do is we have to, create a layer mask for this layer, okay? So you scroll down here to the bottom, let me go down so that you can see what I'm doing. Here, you go to add layer mask, okay? So now on the color layer, we have what's called a layer mask. And a layer mask basically lets you leave certain things and take certain things away on a layer without having it be destructive, you know? If you're making mistakes, you can always go back and erase and start over. You can inverse it. You can do a whole lot of different things with a layer mask. And trust me, I really didn't start using layer mask until maybe 2 years ago. But once I learned how to edit using the layer mask, it has really, really helped my editing, go to the next level. Okay. So let me show you this. All right. So let's get our paintbrush. Okay. So one thing to remember when using a layer mask, black reveals, white hides, okay? So if I was to change my foreground color to white, and if I was to scroll over the red, you see it wouldn't make any changes, right? Because the white hides. But if I change black to my foreground and roll over the skin goes back to the natural color. And the reason being is because black reveals, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my paintbrush tool a tad bit smaller, not too small. My hardness, I'm gonna drop that down to 0 so I have a nice feather. And I'm gonna paint over her skin on her feet carefully. I can do this in a more precise manner, but to save time, you guys, I'm going to do this in this way. You know what, as a matter of fact, I need to paint over the shoes so that we can bring that beige tone back into the shoe, you see? And again, I have my foreground color on black, as you can see right here, and I'm just painting over just to make sure I have the natural tones, okay? So watch this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make my brush a little bit larger, and I'm gonna paint over my image. See, the ground is not supposed to be red, see? So we're getting back the details that we lost, as you can see. You see, we're taking that red out, and it's going back to its natural state. Now, yeah, I can do this in a more precise manner, but to save you guys time, guess I can make another video to show you guys a more in-depth way to do it. Okay, but yeah, I'm free handing. I'm not using my graphic tablet right now. I'm just freehanding and I'm going over. And you might not be able to tell right now, but basically what's going on is I'm basically taking out all of the background colors that we changed. Now, to be honest with you, in order to save this step on the front side, what I could have done is I could have selected our subject and basically just made the changes to that selection, and I wouldn't have to do this here, but I just, I decided just to go the long way, just to show you guys the whole concept, okay? So I think I basically have a decent round to start on. And yeah, all right, so the background has been done. Let me zoom in a little bit, go to 50, okay. All right, watch this. Let me take my hardness up, lower the size of my brush. I'm sorry, I'll move away from the microphone. Scroll down. All right, I have a little bit of red right here, so let me take that out. Nobody probably would have noticed, but I like to make sure that I have everything out. Because trust and believe, somebody will always pay attention to the things you don't. All right. That orange actually looks kind of dope on the outfit, huh? Yeah. All right. So now what we have to do, of course, is we have to take the redness off her skin. And my brush is hard right now. I think I want to make it a tad bit bigger and go softer. So that way I can get a nice feather. So it spread a little bit better, okay? We don't necessarily need to get the black on her shirt. We can leave that as is, all right? We can take the black out the hair. Yeah, let's do that. Let's keep it looking as natural as possible. All right, don't worry about that right there. It's covered. So let's go right back over here. To be honest with you, we could even take the red out of the hat right now because it's not the actual red tone of the hat. So let's see what happens when we do that. All right, I can see it. I don't know if you guys can, but once I do it, I'll show you before and after. And you can kind of see the difference. Oh, I forgot. Let's take the redness out the hat too. Right here. All right. Yeah, now we're cooking with fish grease. All right. So let's double back. I can make an icon a tad bit bigger so I can go in and clean that up. All right. So let's do the hands. Oh, hold up. Let me show you guys the before and after on the head. Oh, well, I already took it out. So what you're seeing right now is the bottom layer right here. Because basically what we're doing is we're revealing the lower layer, excuse me, but we're revealing the portions of the lower layer that we want. And just those alone. That's what I should have said initially. Oh, let me undo that. Let me go back to the adjustment layer. I mean the layer mask, I'm sorry. All right, so let me scroll down. Let's get that red off there. Let's go back over here and let me get the red from here. You see that? All right, but you see the jacket is kind of showing that original yellow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to change my foreground to white, make my sharpness 100%, my hardness rather, and look, see that? It's cool, huh? I'll paint that back on. Boom. All right. Get that red out. So I just press X to switch over to my color. Red off the skin. And again, guys, they have a better way for me to do this using my quick selection tool. But to save time, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to show you guys the quicker way so that you can kind of get an idea. So let me go back, color that back in. All right. All right. So go back on this side. Oops. Undo that. All right. You know what? I can do the skin and just go back. Save time that way. All right. So now that's done. So I think I am going to use my quick selection tool. So I'm going to highlight the color layer here. All right. I'm going to highlight the skin. Excuse me. I'm sorry. All right. So now I'm going to go back to the layer mask. I'm going to choose my paintbrush. Hardness at 0. I'm going to make my paintbrush a tad bit bigger. Oops. Let me make black my foreground color. And boom. All right. So now I can make white my foreground color and just get this little small piece right here. Blend that in a little bit, okay? Boom. All right. So do we have any other spots that have any residual red tones? Let me see. So let me zoom in. And basically, guys, this image is done. Voila. So look, let me go back. Let me show you the before. This is the before. It looks great. It, you know, it really does. The yellow is real nice, you know, and it pops, you know, but it doesn't pop too much. It's, you know, it's a real nice outfit. But let me go back to the edit that we just did, okay? The orange is different too as well. The orange look nice too as well, you know? So if you want to give your clients, um, you know, an option, if you want to give them a couple of different images, um, the same image rather, but a few variations, you can do that too as well. This is very powerful. You can get very creative with it. You can do some very nice edits. You can give your client one image and you can edit a different variation of the same image and post it on your social media. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with this skill. And I appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out and let me know. And I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. And let me know anything else that you guys would like to learn. My Instagram is at Germaine Grimes. That's at GermaineGrimes. My website is www.germainegrimes.com. And my photography page on Instagram and Facebook is at Exposures. That's at EXPROSURES. And my photography website is www.exposures.net. That's EXPROSURES. Once again, I appreciate you guys tuning in. God bless, and keep on shooting and keep on working in Photoshop. All right, peace.